Hello there, welcome back. It is I, Lord William. Today, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be talking to you about Romantasy. What is Romantasy, I hear you ask? Well, it is a book genre that has become popular amongst women and men, I think. Um, it is romance fantasy. I've been recommended this trilogy. There's more books coming, there's going to be 5 in total. So yeah, I thought I'd listen to the audiobooks. Obviously with my visual impairment I can't read, so I had to listen to audiobooks. And I'll just be giving you my honest thoughts and opinions about it. So yeah, just a disclaimer. Just my opinion. If you disagree, that's completely fine. Yeah. Also, there's going to be spoilers. So if you don't want any spoilers, if you've read book 1, that's fine. If you haven't, then yeah, don't listen to this video. Same goes for the second video and the third video. If you haven't read book 2 and 3, do not watch them videos. So yeah, without further ado, let's talk about what we're going to be talking about. So we're going to be doing the Empyrean, I believe it's pronounced. Apologies if I pronounce anything incorrectly. I have dyslexia, so I'm just pronouncing it how the audiobook reader pronounced everything. So it's the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros, or Yoris, however you want to pronounce it. So today we're going to be doing the Fourth Wing. Obviously book 2 is Iron Flame and book 3 is Onyx Storm. We won't be talking about them two today, just Fourth Wing. For anybody that is interested, the audiobook on Audible I listened to was voiced by Rebecca Soller? Yeah, Soller. And Teddy Hamilton. So, what is Fourth Wing? Well, I got it described to me by my friends as Hunger Games meets Harry Potter with dragons. And yeah, they went wrong, but that is a very decent-ish description. However, they didn't mention the amount of romance in it, and there's a lot of detail in the chapter where there is the romance scenes. So yeah, just be warned if you ever wanting to read that. So yeah, let's talk about the main character, Violet Sorringale, or Sorringale? I don't know how you pronounce it. But yes, she is the main character. She bloody knows it. I don't like her character at all. I mean, she's more bearable in the first one, but she's just very whiny and argumentative and complaining. I just don't like her personally. As a main character. She has a cool ability. We'll talk about that in a bit. So yeah, at the beginning of the book, we find out that Violet is was intending to be a scribe at this school that they're at. Well, college. It's called Battle. Is it a Battle College? Yeah, it's a Battle College. Where's my note? It is. Where has it gone? There you go. It's called Baskayev War College. There you go. It's a very weird college. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, basically, how the story opens up is with Violet listening in on her mother and sister arguing over whether she should be what they call a rider, a dragon rider. Violet just accepts the fact that her mum has told her, you're doing it. Sister walks off grumpily, and yeah, they have a little nice sisterly meeting afterwards, after the mother has told us she's gonna go to what we call the parapet, um, which is how you get to the wider quadrant of the college. It's like this really narrow bridge, and yeah. So a sister's warned to like be careful. You probably should trim your hair because people are gonna use that to take you down. Like they'll tug on your hair and drag you to the floor, etc. like that. And I was like, nah, I'll be right. And then we, oh, she gifts her sister some dragon scale armor from her own dragon's like scales that have come on. That's another thing. We don't really go in depth about. Like apparently in this world, dragon scales like sort of come off like snake skin. Like I don't really know that much about how like each fantasy series book has like different ways of how dragons work, but that was a unique one. So yeah, a sister decides to use dragon scales from her own dragon called, oh, what's she called? Can't remember. Can't remember what her sister's dragon's called, but yeah. So yeah, she goes to this thing called the parapet, which is like this, like I said, this small bridge where you have to cross to get to the rider quadrant. It's kind of like a test to see if you are strong. How does mentally? Yeah, I'd say mentally and physically strong enough. It's like kind of messes with people, like can you get over this bridge or not, sort of thing. So yeah, she's like readying herself for it, and we meet a couple people. We meet Rhiannon, and then we also meet I can't remember his name. There's this guy. He's not important, mainly because he gets about halfway across the bridge and passes away. Unfortunately, he get. Does he get? I can't remember. Oh, he falls. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he falls. He slips, I think, on a rock, and like, yeah, he's gone. But yeah, Rhiannon and Violet get over mainly because Violet realizes that the floor is slippy, so she swaps one of her shoes with Rhiannon because she notices Rhiannon's shoes are quite smooth and she could slip easily. So they have like one of each other's shoe each, so it's easier for them to get better grip and they won't fall. So she's made a first friend at this point, which, woohoo, hats off for her. To be fair, Rhiannon's pretty good, fun character. She becomes quite a good close friend to her and Squaddy. Oh, that's another thing. When they've gone across the Riders Quadrant, they become cadets. So, for example, Violet's Cadet Sorengale. Rhiannon is Cadet Mattis? I don't know how you pronounce the surname. So yeah, we meet him, and then once we've reached the Riders Quadrant, we meet one of Violet's love triangle characters, because there's a love triangle in the first book with a character called Dane Atos. He's described as, well, Violet describes him as being really good looking, and all this. I was like, well, why are you just friends with him? But yeah, Dane definitely likes her. She does seem to like him, however, Dane doesn't really help himself at the beginning of the book because he's like, oh, what you doing here? You're supposed to be a scribe, not a rider, and he gets all grumpy about it. And spends like the first half of the book basically trying to persuade her to not be a rider and be a scribe instead until she gets a dragon. So yeah, and then we meet. Oh, Have we met Zayden at this point? I can't remember. We meet the other love interest, Zayden Ryerson. He is, God, I don't like his character whatsoever. He's he's your stereotypical bad boy. He's got the he's got the hang on, sorry. Right, he's got the like the oh, don't mess with me vibe sort of thing. Like he's grumpy all the time. Know that, but you know, women like a bad boy. I've been told. Then we meet the other squaddies. We meet Riddick, who's I like Riddick. He's like just for comedy guy. He's the much needed comedy fill-in. Just need a bit of something to fill in the boringness of the chapters. We meet Sawyer, which at first I thought was a female, but it's apparently a boy. We also meet Jack Boller, who's like literally just instant villain vibe. Like literally the first thing he says to Violet is like, "I'm your next Violet," and I'm just after he's just like stabbed somebody. So yeah. First impressions of like that section, I was just like, well, it's a bit of a slow grind. Put it this way, it's a bit slow, but you know, it keeps you intrigued because you want to know what's going on. So it's not bad, it's not brilliant. This could be a lot of improvement for storyline, but yeah. So yeah, we get to the Riders Quadrant, and then we meet the other squaddies. We've got Imogen, we've got Quinn, we've got my boy Liam. He's my favourite character. Just saying, Liam is the best. We got Violet's friend, who Violet was training to be a scribe with, Justinia. Which they don't actually explain how the scribes get to the Riders Quadrant, unless the scribes have their own quadrant and the riders go to that quadrant. They never really fully explain that bit. So yeah. So what happens after that? Oh, they go through all the lessons. They go through battle brief. They study codexes, like historical events. They study how to use magic. They also do sparring lessons. Yeah. And then they do a thing called the Gauntlet, which is like a test before they do get the dragon the dragon sessions. Which it's called threshing. By the time we get to threshing, they've built friendships. They've encountered Zayden's moodiness quite a bit. Both Zayden and Dane are each other's necks at this point already, I think. Are they actually? Or is it a bit later on? I think it might be a bit later on. Anyway, so we get to threshing. What is threshing? Well, threshing is where it's a bit like when they say, like in Harry Potter, they say the one chooses wizard, and this it's the dragon chooses the rider. So Violet ends up not bonding with two dragons because she's greedy. She matches with a big black dragon called Terran, and a golden dragon called Andana. And like how bonding works with the dragons is really weird. So like how she first realizes she's bonded with a dragon is she can hear Terran's voice. The dragon tells her to get away while he takes on this other person that's trying to attack Violet. And yeah, Violet's trying to protect the golden dragon because the golden dragon is quite a small dragon compared to most, and it seems to be like she can't fly properly. So Violet instantly is like, oh, I gotta protect the dragon. So she protects the dragon, but then this black dragon, who's Terran, comes and saves the two of them, and she bonds with both dragons somehow. They don't know how. Well, Violet doesn't know how. The humans don't know how. Obviously, the dragons do, but they're not sharing their secrets. And then when you bond with a dragon, you get like a thing called a rune. So it's like a sort of like a symbol, a patch or something. Violet gets like a dragon shape on a. This looks like a dragon tattoo on the back of her, like under her neck. So yeah. And then you also later on in the story get a thing called a signet, which is a ability or power. For example, Violet's mother controls storms, like she can control sort of like weather coming in and stuff like that. A bit like Storm from X-Men. That's the best way to describe it. A sister is what they call a shield, so she can block other people's abilities, I believe that's how it works. And Violet gets lightning, or yes, the dragon calls her lightning wielder. So yes. And then because Violet bonds with Terran, something really weird happens where all of a sudden Zayden's like kind of being all protective and watching over all the time, and it's getting a bit weird. So you know, eventually she like, what's the gist? Sorry. And basically how it works, because her dragon Terran and Zayden's dragon Sigil, I don't know how you pronounce it, a big blue dragon basically. Because they bonded them two are in a relationship. Zayden and Violet have a weird bond where they have to protect each other as well, because in this book series, if a dragon dies, the human dies. And then if a human dies, the dragon gets to choose. Which is a bit weird. The dragon gets to choose to live or die, but the human can't. It's a bit unfair, really. But yeah, basically, because all four of them are technically bonded, they have like this weird connection. So, like I said, like the dragons communicate with the humans, like in their head, like they can talk telekinesically, is it? Telepathically. But Zayden can also do it with Violet because of the bond between their dragons. Dane doesn't like that because obviously he's jealous, and he knows that Violet fancies him. No, like Zayden, I mean. And he doesn't like that. It's clear that he does not like that. And yeah, there's a bit of trust issues between Dane and Violet after that, and some like it's just bit awkward, bit of sexual tension there. And then we find out about another. Oh, so in this world they're at war with these Griffin Riders that they've been at war with for, I think it's supposed to be 600 years, something like that. And then we also get introduced to a thing called Venom, It's our the main villains. Let me get the photo up for you. Right, there you go. So yeah, we've got Venom, and they ride wyverns. So we've got wyverns, griffins, and dragons in this, and magic. So there's a lot of history. There's a lot of there's a lot of government propaganda going on right here. I don't know if the authors intentionally done this, but there's a lot of not a lot of truth telling to the citizens of this kingdom going on, because they believe that Venom died like years and years and years ago, but they're apparently a thing, but nobody knows. Violet suspects they're around, but there's been no proof. So yeah, she researches that sort of stuff. And then yeah, basically as this storyline kicks on, it gets a bit boring, if I'm honest. Like the majority of the book is after the dragon bit. It's like training your dragon. Bit like it. Yes, bit like that film. Yeah, so she's training the dragon, training her lightning skills, bonding with Zayden, bonding with her friends. Oh, I forgot. Yeah. Also, obviously, the best bit. My best friend. Not my best friend. My favorite character. Liam. Zayden assigns Liam to. Oh, actually, before I mention Liam, actually, yeah, here we go. I forgot about this. So, what happens is Violet decides one day to spy on Zayden, because she notices Zayden keeps disappearing every now and then. And then that was it. She was plant picking or something, and then yeah, she was getting some stuff to get some plants, shrubberies and stuff. I think she was yeah, that was it. She was collecting stuff for the poisons. Wasn't poisoning people, but she was like making people feel ill so they couldn't face her in battle training. Anyway, yeah, in one of the sessions where she's disappeared to get some stuff to make people feel unwell, she oversees like she's literally just sitting in a tree, and she just oversees Zayden meeting up with the other, what they call what are they called, marked ones? Yeah, marked ones, which are children of a rebellion that happened before the book, where as a punishment all these children have been put runes on them so people know, oh, you're a child of a rebellion and stuff. Which is also, it's a bad punishment, but it's not as bad as the other thing that this kingdom did, because this kingdom's a pretty bad kingdom. But not just for gaslighting of information, but also they decided, we'll keep all the children alive, but we'll kill all the parents. So, bit weird that. So yeah. Zayden's having a secret meeting with some of these second and first and third yearers. And she overhears them talking about a shipment or delivery thing. Oh, and about how nobody's to like bother Violet and all that and stuff. And all that. And then eventually they all disappear. Zayden stays around, and then they have their discussion about that. Anyway, I just thought I'd give you a bit of backstory. Basically, what happens is after the bonding, Zayden assigns our guy Liam, my favourite character, to protect her so nobody tries to kill like Jack Barlow. Liam's an awesome character purely because, like, just the whole character arc of Liam goes from, oh, I'm just here to protect you, to he ends up becoming Violet's like best friend throughout the whole book. They become really good close friends. Like, it's literally the only character that doesn't like try to flirt with Violet, or Violet doesn't flirt with him. And like, yeah, they just have a good friendship. They just have laughs and stuff, and like, yeah, I just like that character most because like just his whole role in the book is just, I'm gonna be a good friend and protect Violet because that's what Xaden told me to do, sort of thing. But well, it was at first. I'm just doing what Xaden told me to, but then it became, I'm actually protecting her because she's my best friend, sort of thing. And I like that in a character, so yeah, that's why he's my favourite character. But yeah, then I can't remember exactly what it is that happens, but something happens to Violet. I'm trying to think what it was. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. Something happens to Violet where Dane. Oh, so I forgot about Dane's power. But Dane can read memories. So Dane, I don't know if it was by accident or purpose, he reads Violet's mind about Xaden, and he finds out that Xaden's doing some dodgy stuff because of Violet's memories and Xaden's conversations with her. So he tells his daddy, and basically his dad sends Xaden off on a mission, but Xaden makes the mistake thinking, oh, he's gonna do something while I'm gone to Violet, so instead he assigns Violet to his squad and a load of people that he trusts, like Liam and the others. And then so yeah, they go to this location with the sent mission. They think it's all part of this like end of year thing called I think it's called War Games. Pretty sure it's called War Games. And then so yeah, they think it's that, and then they arrive and like there's nobody there. So they're like, oh, what's going on here? And oh, first off, some Griffin riders come out of nowhere and start talking to Xaden, and Violet's like, what the fuck? And then she realizes that he's been giving weapons from their forge to the Griffin riders, which are technically supposed to be the enemy. And she's like, why are you doing that? And then it has to be through all this discussion and argument over venom. But and then yeah, they have an argument, and she feels betrayed, and then she feels betrayed because Liam and the others didn't tell her about it either, and it's a bit awkward. And then what is it? They go to this other outpost because it was like a halfway point where they met the Griffin people, where they've been told to go to, and they're like, oh, why is there no riders here? Because it's supposed to be like a legit outpost, like of people defending it from Griffin riders and stuff. And they're like, oh, what's going on here? And turns out that there's next to the settlement, the fort outpost they're at, there's like a little town, and they've been given orders to either they're being told two things by Dane's dad, basically, like you can either retreat and be branded as traitors, or by not following orders, or you can stay and try and survive. That's literally what the letter says. And so they're like, wait, what? What's happening? And they realize it's a trap. And Liam uses his long sight. I think pretty sure it's Liam. Uses long sight to see actually Venom are real, and they're attacking the village next to him. So Zayden and Violet and all the others end up into a cool heated battle. Basically, there's a big trend in these 3 books where at the end of every book, like about 3/4 in, an epic battle happens. But for the other 3/4, like, not that much really happens, really. So yeah, so a battle happens. Like, Venom is supposed to be like really dangerous, like really tough, hard to fight and stuff, and ends up being like this big kerfuffle. Some of the Griffin riders that they were selling the weapons to end up coming and helping out, and they're trying to defend the civilians as best they can. And then Violet gets herself in a spot of trouble because it's Violet, she always does it. And then, unfortunately, my boy Liam, he sacrifices himself, which is the saddest part of the book. It's like the whole like what the damn hell moment, and yeah, he basically he dies. Which is sad, and we're gonna have a in memoriam section for Liam. No, there you go. Yeah. So yeah, Liam passes away. Along with his drag. Basically, what happens is his dragon gets killed by a wyvern, and because of the bond between dragon and humans, if a dragon dies, the human also dies. So yeah, it's really sad. Definitely the saddest part of the book. It really hits the heartstrings. But yeah. So yeah, Liam dies, and then so Violet goes cray because she's angry now, and she uses like the full power of her lightning ability, which she hasn't been able to do for the entire book, and she kills what's left of the wyvern, not wyvern, yeah, wyvern, and she ends up making enemies with one of the Venom. I can't remember what her name is. Something with an A. I will double check for the second video what her name is because she does appear in that one. But yeah, she makes an enemy of the Venom, and then she kind of passes out from overuse of her ability. And then we get a chapter from Zayden's point of view where he's looking after her and stuff while she's sleeping and recovering, etc. And then yeah, we get the very last chapter where Violet wakes up and she discovers that her brother that she thought had died fighting the rebellion is actually still alive, and we end the book with that plot twist. And to be fair, that was a good plot twist because it actually did make me want to read the second book. Because like, wait, hang on, I thought he was supposed to be dead, so yeah. To be fair, Liam's death made me not want to read the second book, and the boringness of the first half. But yeah. So yeah, that's the main storyline. Overall, as a book, it's fairly decent. Personally for me, there's too many sex scenes. Well, it's not the fact there's too many sex scenes, it's the descriptions, but just a bit too over the top for me, personally. Bit too descriptive. I know people like that sort of thing. I'm trying to think of stuff. I'm going to list off the things I dislike first. So that the romance section, the 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 pace of the book is quite slow for the majority of the book. I mean, it sort of all kicks off in the last quarter of the book. I don't really like that as a pacing method, and she seems to do that exact thing in all three books, and it is kind of annoying. Things I do like. I like the dragon. The dragons are good. Andana and Terran are good. Like I like their personalities. Like Terran's the grumpy old man. She's an adolescent. He actually calls her an adolescent, and she gets really grumpy about it. So that's kind of fun. I like that. Loved Liam. Liam's favorite character. I love Riddick. His comedy. The other squaddies are meh. Mixed bag really. Some are okay. Some are just nah. Dane, Zayden, love triangle with Violet. Not a fan. Not really. The world building. Let's talk about the world building. It's not that great. Like, sure, the dragon stuff, the magic aspect, and the venom and all that, that's cool. However, she's missing so much. Like, she doesn't go into detail about like how the kingdom's run, like how the school works, because the school's really weird. Like, you're okay to kill off other cadets, but apart from not in the sleep, but any other time of day is fair game apparently. It's a really weird system. There's a lot of gaslighting from the establishment to the citizens and providers and all that. No truth going on here. Like, we don't really. Well, we hear about certain locations, but we don't really get told like why is this location important really, or stuff like that. But yeah, it's a good starter book, but obviously it needs a lot of improvement personally. If I was forced to give it a rating, I'd give it about a 3, maybe a 4 at best. No, yeah, I'll get a 3. 3 or 3.5. And yeah. So, hopefully you've enjoyed listening to me talk. We'll say talk. If you'd like to hear me talk about the second one, I'm going to attempt to get the second one out on Sunday evening, hopefully. And then the third one maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that. So yeah, keep an eye out. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you have, thanks. Give a comment, a like, and a subscribe. If you haven't, that's okay. I don't blame you. But still, be respectful in the comments and all that. But yeah, hopefully you've had a decent time. I've had a decent time. So yeah, see you soon. Bye bye.